You are now listening to For All Nerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. For All Nerds is hosted by DJ Ben Amin and Tatiana Keene Jones. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.
Welcome to the Fan Bros!
This is the emergency broadcasting system.
And what's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of The Lack of Us, a podcast covering The Last of Us from the perspective of people of color. Where our motto is inclusion is revolution, powered by For All Nerds. It's your boy, DJ Ben Amin, aka Cordyceps Rex. Holy shit, Joel. Smoking on that Indonesia clicker-bait here on the... I guess it's not really a spaceship, but you know, we here tonight. It's rotted out.
The Petri dish.
Yeah, the Petri dish. Here in the... Oh, nice. I like that. Here in the Petri dish. Alongside my wonderful co-host.
Tatiana King, a.k.a. 4 Spores and 7 Years Ago, a.k.a. For Us by The Last of Us, a.k.a. The Blacks of Us, a.k.a. Elliot Ness. And yes, Ben Hamid, we are back here to talk all things about episode 7 of this first season of The Lack of Us. I gave it the title of Teen Angst at the Mall. I don't know how you felt about the title on this, or how you felt about the overall story of this episode.
It was cool. It was interesting. You know, we'll get to that. The Blacks of Us, though, I wanted to talk about that because I almost wanted to name the podcast The Blacks of Us. But as we see, the Blacks of Us are getting, mistreated. Once again, it is the lack of us, But it goes back to what I've also said before, time and time again. You cannot have inclusion and revolution without having people taking L's. But man, we are, we're 0 for something on this show right now.
But also, because it reminds me of a comment we received on Twitter, and I have to be clear, niggas die every day, right? Like, there's gonna be times where it is the black character, you want them to be there, you root for them, this, that, and the third, and then they take the L. And my thing is, if it makes sense for them to take the L, then so fucking be it. Wrong place, wrong time for you, right? I'm not going to cry over spilled milk like that. It's when it's like, if it's a black character, and I'm not saying that's what happened in this episode, I'm talking in generalities, but it's a black character, and it's like the writing goes out of its way to mistreat that character, or like it's just extra, or it's just like incredibly much more traumatic, and more so because that character is black. Then that's kind of when I start having my problems. So, I'm listen, traumatic shit happens every day too. Like, shit happens, and as you already alluded to, if you want us to be included and have full-fledged, full stories, bad shit's gonna happen.
I'm from East New York, nigga, shit happens.
It is what it is. Just like in our lives as real humans, bad shit happens, okay? Good shit happens. Foul shit happens. Amazing shit happens. It is what it is. It's just a full spectrum of life, and I'm okay with that. It's when it's just like you deliberately writing this person to be a bastard, you know what I'm saying? And unless it's just a part of the characterization, it's just like, all right, you're
this
going out your way.
Bastard right
like, it's
here.
clear you don't like black people. When is that, then I got problems. Other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm still wondering, what was that comment on Twitter, though? What was exactly
said? They were just talking about Henry, how he felt so bad, like how he felt so hurt about the Henry and Sam story.
Yeah. Whenever people start off with
they kind of say, I'm I'm all about blackness, but it wasn't that serious. And I'm like, listen, y'all, like, don't tell. I'm gonna repeat some of my response. I'm not a fan of telling other people how to feel. I'm not, number one. And number two, like, that shit hurted and still hurts me. It hurted. Right?
It hurted.
It hurted so bad. I'm invested in that particular character and those particular characters and what their story was, and they were well inserted into the story, and then to be invested in and then go out like that shit was wild. Okay.
I think that might have affected my reaction to this episode, because I was like, ain't no way Riley making out of this one. You know? I had
Well,
no hope for her.
You know, I didn't even think because she was black. I'm just like, because this is The Last of Us.
The blackness added to it.
And there's always, and I said this before, there's always an air, as it should be, of danger and possible death at every other line of dialogue said by a character. Anytime the camera's not perfectly centered in a shot, anytime the fucking leaf blows in the frame, I'm fucking shaking in my boots like, oh, what the fuck's about to happen? And then and that's what's masterful about it, because throughout this whole goddamn episode, I'm like, yo, what the fuck about to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they about to take the L right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm anticipating the L's, and there's no L's coming. And then when it does come, you're not fucking prepared. And I hate that shit, but that's masterful work because I can't guess it.
See, in this one, I didn't really. I thought it was well done. I wouldn't say masterful because I thought it was like it kind of stretched it out after a while because it sketched him out.
Let me be clear. I'm not talking about the episode. I'm talking about masterful work in seeding fear throughout a show, seeding fear throughout regular situations that you see characters talking. And it could really be a truly innocuous situation, but you still feel the tense undercurrent. That's what I'm talking about. And I think this show does that masterfully. I
think so. It definitely at points. And even in this episode, I think it was pretty well done. It even reminded me of, there's a classic, I think it's called A Touch of Evil. It's an Alfred Hitchcock joint where the opening shot is super long. It's one of the first, super long shots like that. But they put a bomb in the back of this car. And then the camera follows this car, and the dude driving obviously doesn't know there's a bomb in the back of the car. But the audience
like a countdown
does.
Or something?
Well, yeah, and it's like, I don't want to spoil it because it's a classic and you should peep it. It's probably on YouTube, at least that shot. But the camera then follows this car throughout the shot, and it's super ill. And that's what this reminded me of in a way where it's like they show you dude, up against the wall, and you know what's going to happen because these girls are out there making noise and doing the things that are going to attract them. And eventually his ass don't show up. At some point in this episode, you knew that man was coming for them, And I thought at points.
So was that the same man that fell through the roof?
Yeah.
Through the steps?
No, that was the dude. No, that was the dude who they showed he was vegged up against the wall. He was already infected.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the same guy?
No, the dude who fell through the steps is random. He in another building.
That was random. Okay.
Yeah, he in another building. Remember, they went jumping over,
That's what I thought you meant. So
yeah, no, I'm talking about my man who's... And for the rest
in the dollhouse.
Yeah, and then for the rest of the episode, up until he came through, you knew he was coming.
Yep.
Because they're over here making all kind of noise. They're yelling at each other.
Just being
Shorty
loud.
Knocking the trash can over as she walking out.
And then once again, this goes back to me, like,
dumb
kids. Things. Like, dumbass kids. And it's just like, bruh, y'all I like how I felt with Henry. Y'all in a dangerous ass environment and situation.
So well written.
Why you acting like everything chill? Like, I don't understand. Everything's not sweet right now. And granted, she says she's been living there, right? She has a essentially false sense of security. Like, oh, there's no infected in here. Nobody knows about this. It hasn't been lit up until like literally that week, I think, or that day, a couple of days ago, she said. So, because they hadn't had electricity and they didn't they wasn't looking at the damn mall. They was trying to light up a different block. But the point is, I could see how it's made to be like, look, no one knows about this place. It is what it is. Me, myself, personally, I don't trust shit. Yeah. I don't trust shit.
I'm scoping out that whole mall before. And that's what bugged me out. Like, she'd been living there and she ain't went through it, place by place. And like, oh no.
Like, clean it out for real?
Dude had been there. It wasn't like dude was like fresh there. He had mad growth around him. He had been sitting there. Waiting for somebody to come through so he could eat him up. And... I mean, I know we say niggas die every day, B, but god damn, fam, like, I guess, still.
So
die every day, B.
So let's continue that just about the things we liked. Like, I know that some of that stuff you just did. You're like, why did it have to happen like that? But one of the things that we both liked, Storm Reed. Was really, when she came on screen, I lit up. I said,
me too.
Storm.
Yes.
And it's so good because I know us both, but I've watched her grow up. On as an actress, so you've seen her when she was very much younger. Wasn't she Rue from the Hunger Games? No, that was another girl. That was no, that's Yeah, that wasn't Rue. But my point is,
Yeah, I can't
she
remember
was
her name.
she was Rue, but I remember the name Rue. She was Rue's little sister
Yes.
is Rue's little sister in Euphoria.
Euphoria. Yep.
And she was in things. What was it? The movie that Oprah like produced, whatever. But but Storm, and then Storm's also in that movie I wanted to see where like her mom got kidnapped and like she's trying to chase after her. It's like the social media stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, like I just really enjoy Storm as an actor and like all the stuff that she's been in and to see her expand in this way is really cool, right? And
I mean, talk about a span. Storm got tall. Like she
got mad tall.
yamming on Ellie and probably Zendaya too. Like she is now the little sister became the big sister, boy. Like,
I'm your OG now. Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, so
talk that drug shit now. What?
that was the highlight of this episode, seeing Storm and her guest starring as Riley. Riley.
Yeah. Highlight for me as well.
What else did you like, Ben?
Let's see. I was
not the I guess. I'm looking at your notes.
It was a very cute story, I guess. You know, it was like
cute. All right, I agree
cute.
with you, Ben. Let me say this. Because I wrote similarly cute characterization, coming of age story. Mm-hmm. They did drag it. It was dragging.
They dragged
it a while.
And they dragged it with things that were like, I was like, okay, this is it left me wondering, all right, and this is something that I was thinking about, right? Okay, there was a lot of use of like 80s imagery, you know, the mall, the Waltman, you know, from the very jump, the Waltman, the aha, you know, you see the aha and then you hear aha, you know, and then they even had the mask on. One of them had like the wolf mask and they're standing on
like
the lighted.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah, Teen Wolf, and also like Thriller where they're standing on the lighted steps, you know, or is that Beat It? You know, Beat It, right?
Billie Jean.
Billie Jean. I'm 1, 2, 3 missed. Yeah. So Billie Jean, you know, all these different references, and I'm like, okay, these girls know nothing about that, you know, like, so why, other than that the writers probably know a lot about that, is
well, yeah, but you know what? For them not to know certain things, they knew some things too, right? And this is what I actually, when you talk about the 80s references and stuff like that and the stuff, remember a few episodes back, I kept asking, and I didn't buy what you or the audience, what people listening was telling me. When I was like, how did Ellie know how to use a cassette? And y'all came up with all this, because there's stuff from the bygone era around, she figured it out. I'm like, hell no, because kids, like, I would never pick up a goddamn cassette if I had no idea what the fuck that was or try to figure it out. So this is why. Because she's been using it, and that's just something that she's used and listened to the music and all this other stuff. So she has history with this. So I really liked them showing where all that came from. But that was the answer to my question.
Oh, okay. Well, that was good. You know, nice little callback and connection they made there. But it is also like, okay, all these 80s references. I was just on a girl who, you know, grew up in the 2000s. I was just trying to bit like.
Well, you know what? Let's think about it this way, Ben. Like, the Gen Z now, like, they're real big on the early 2000s. And that was 20 years ago now. So if a person who was born in, you know, is a 2003 girl, if the 80s is their influence, that was 20 years ago, right? From that point, right? So, I mean, nostalgia.
This is also true. Nostalgia is usually about, you know, 20 and 40-year generations and shit like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I could see.
I mean, the 80s is still popping now.
Right. And also, when you think about it, it had to be that stuff from either 80s or early 90s, because those are the only things that would work in this type of environment, at least in an environment where they're building back up to having shit like a power grid. They're building back up to having things like regular power, regular running water, things like that. Like, there's certain more modern things that maybe you'd see in 2003 that may not, like, for example, you wouldn't see no goddamn IMAX in there, right? Because even if they have power for it, it's not connected to no internet. There is no internet. As far as I know, there's no things that would make stuff of the 2000s era make sense right there. So for me, I was like, wasn't really surprised at some of that 80s stuff making it in.
And it's also a mall, and that's also
and it's
like
a mall.
The most
I mean,
iconic.
that's 90s too.
It is, but 80s is like that. You know, like every movie, it takes place in the 80s in a mall. You know, like at some point in the movie, they're going to the mall. You know, like in the 80s. So I think I think it was a bit of both of everything that we said right there. I think it's a bit of the writer's influence, along with the
Definitely.
character's influence and the writers thus influencing the character and being like, well, I like the 80s, so, she gonna like the 80s too.
Right.
And, and I like the Walkman, so she gonna have a Walkman now. So, it's that type of thing.
And I thought it was funny, Ben, because you talk about them being 2000s girls.
Mm-hmm.
And also they weren't 2000s girls.
No.
They were, because Storm said she was
Apocalypse
gonna,
girls.
Riley said that she was gonna turn 17 next month, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Which means she wasn't even alive when this shit first
None
went
of
down.
that. Neither of them were.
And neither is Ellie, because she's 15 or whatever.
Yep.
So but to that point, like I said, the stuff that they're being taught is from
Mm-hmm.
people who were around in the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
And so they would have that recollection. I assumingly the adults, like the true adults would have that recollection. And then but the point I was trying to make, the fact when they were looking through the pun book and they read the part about the screenshot, right? The pun where they were like,
Clueless.
what does it say? Why was a computer drunk? Because it took a screenshot. And they both said, well, I don't know what a screenshot is. And that's funny as fuck, right? Like, it's just from a timely perspective, from a weirded era perspective, like a weirded out era perspective,
Mhm.
like it's just very interesting. So
Yep.
I don't know. I thought
And
it was
then,
cool.
yeah, remember, Facebook wasn't even invented in this world. So that tells you,
Was Facebook out? No, Facebook was out.
No, it wasn't.
Not-
Someone
you said
someone
that
did the
everything
math
happened
already.
in 2000. Oh, it wasn't out to colleges like that?
No, not like that. That shit was a wrap.
I
for them.
mean, when I say colleges, I meant like widespread, like maybe only
only like
Mark's College and somebody
yeah.
else had it.
Yeah, and maybe.
Hmm.
I think it debuted that year.
Zucks
Yeah,
College. Oh wow.
yeah. And so Zuck probably.
MySpace was around.
Mm.
Black Planet was around. All that shit was there.
Not for, but not for them.
GeoCities and Angel Fire.
Yeah,
Jesus.
oof. She ain't seen none of that. BB, what was it? Or the bulletin board.
Neopets.
Or even before that, the bulletin board, BB. It was
BBS.
BBS, yeah, yep.
Bulletin Board System.
Yeah, ooh, darling.
AOL.
You got mail. 10 free hours.
You got mail. 10 free hours.
I used to have like stacks of them CDs.
But that does, but that's like you said, I think it's particularly the writer. And I don't know if this is in the game, if all that 80s influence was in the game, right? To your point, this is just because that's what the writers like. But it's like, for all that, why didn't they have like Discman, like a CD?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But then again, CDs can scratch that wild easy.
And
so-
wild easy.
Whereas I presume a cassette will
last
survive
you.
more.
And tape will survive unless
Okay.
it gets cooked, or too cold.
But I'm like, I wouldn't like. There's like like magnetic fields all over the place. Like, I don't know. There's so many ways this shit could just go wrong with
Yeah.
all types of like solid media. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, all that shit degrades, and everything like
Mm.
that. Tape snap easily, everything, so. But you can also
Anyway.
repair it. Yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
Like I say, it's definitely an influence of everyone, on this thing that makes it what it was.
Yeah. But I do agree with you, and I'll get into that later. I just wanted my last thing I wanted to say about the stuff I liked about the episode. I like the concept that they want, that date. It was really a date, but that
Mhm.
concept of the wonders of the mall.
Oh, yeah.
And like, again, the idea of these mundane things just being so shockingly amazing and beautiful to Ellie. And it was, in many ways, it was beautiful, but the existence of these things, the things that she's only read about in books or heard about from other people. She said electric stairs.
Yeah.
And then Riley Lab said escalator. You know what I mean? Like, and the way Ellie was wilding out on the fucking escalator was so funny to me, because it was just like, that truly is like, if you like, for someone who have never seen that before, that is a wonder of
Life.
Life. It's just like, yo, this shit's moving by itself, and I'm on it, and I'm this and that. Like, I could get why she was so hyped.
I remember as a kid, as a little kid, going to the mall and being like, "Oh, look at that shit!"
I used to be
like,
afraid. I used to be
hell
afraid
yeah, super,
to like step on it and get
super shook. What? Come on. But I remember, like, when I first saw a big ass escalator and being like, "Wow!" Or the first time I saw like the moving walkway, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh shit, it's like the fucking Jetsons or some shit," like this shit crazy. But now, like,
he said, but now, but see, like I said, you see that now, you're like, whatever. You know what I mean?
No,
or,
no.
You know, it ain't shit. But it's just that's what the precious part was about this episode.
Yeah,
like, that cute story.
And even for me, and like I've heard, I didn't know this, but I heard that some people on the internet were kind of upset about Bella Ramsey's casting or acting in the first few episodes.
Bella Ramsey, which one? Oh, Bella.
Ellie.
Oh, Bella, our girl, Ellie. Yeah.
And I didn't, loving. I mean,
they had a problem with her acting.
That's what I don't know. Look, I think it's because they played the game, and Ellie is different. Whatever. I'm not sure. I haven't played the game, so I don't get it. But I just love Bella's a lot of little moments she's had throughout the series. Like I saw this online afterwards, and this is a rough moment, but like when Henry, when he shoots himself, she doesn't scream like no or anything. It's just like this little like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Like,
yeah, and it's just that's an ill ass choice as an actor to make that. And her reaction to the arcade. Because
I like that.
Kid
now that is a magical place.
Yes, as a kid who grew up I was in love with arcades, y'all. Like that was my life.
It's gambling for kids, man.
Oh my god! And I was
it's
fully
the lights
addicted.
and the sounds and the
fully addicted.
Triggers in your head. You know what I mean? Like
fully addicted, fam. I once found $20 on the floor in the mall and immediately went to the arcade and burned that shit down. Like.
Got your quarters.
What? I burned that. I didn't tell my parents nothing. I remember they were sitting at McDonald's. I was like, I saw that shit on the ground. Like, what? I was like, yo, Mom, I'll be back.
That's my ticket.
That was my golden ticket, boy. Like Willie fucking Wonka out here.
Yeah. And I like how they played Mortal Kombat and Riley played Melina.
I told y'all about Mortal Kombat 2. That to me is still my favorite one. So when they actually showed it on this one, and
was that the second time Mortal Kombat came up? Because didn't we see the arcade cabinet?
And it was Mortal Kombat 2 before, and she was so hyped, and she told him about Melina. And so once again, this is the callback because her girlfriend was it's cold.
Damn.
You said, there's a lot of cold callbacks in this episode as well as the joyous ones. Because remember, this is the moment that she told Joel about. When she's like, I've already done, things. This is that moment. Her, having to presumably end Riley is,
I mean, she's alive. Riley isn't. Riley ain't got the juice in her things like that.
Yeah.
So, damn, man. Well, let me finish off on a good note anyway. Just again, like these wonders of the world, and then the cute carousel ride, and just like. Like you said, the whole dragging, but the whole touch and go, and should I not kiss her type of thing, like that was still a cute story in the coming of age. It was like, when Riley was leaning on her, they would take the picture, and Ellie was like, all right, you can get off of me now, and Riley was just like, oh, like she wanted to be closer to her, like all that tentative, oh, should I be close to them? Should I not? Should I touch them? Should I put myself out there and be vulnerable? I thought that was really cute.
I loved when Ellie tells her to turn around when she's changing, and she's like, you're still on that,
right?
And Ellie doesn't realize that Riley likes her in that way, that she likes Riley, and and also, even if she did, she's probably just too nervous to be undressing in front of her because that is her crush,
yeah, she's just too nervous, but like it's clear that they both liked each other in that way. It's just didn't know how to go about it and how to approach it. I mean, like you're a kid and you having these feelings, and it's like, what do you do? How, is it okay? Is the person going to hate me for this or whatever? Like, even when it happened, it was clear it was a mutual kiss, but even Ellie was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because she immediately was like, what if Riley isn't like that? It's like, she doesn't know, and neither of them know at that point. They haven't openly discussed this, obviously. That's not something you would be openly discussing in this world, obviously. It's, it in some ways, it might be even more conservative than the world we live in now because, it's like, shit's tight.
I'm glad you said that, man, because I was actually wondering that. Do you think in this world it's more conservative or less conservative? Because being that, especially they're being so young and having a same-sex relationship or about to build one before it all went south, I was just like, I wonder how people are acting in this environment now. Like, have they come to their senses and realized, hey, that shit's like, being
irrelevant,
a bigot about it is irrelevant. It doesn't matter because we just trying to live. But we're truly, even you didn't know we were trying to live before. Hey, we're just trying to live. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering,
Fuck who you want to fuck at this point. Like,
does that matter in this world?
That's an interesting question. I would assume that in a society like Fedra, it does. Because, fascism usually results in a lot of control, to everything, so it depends on what the moral, like what moral code, in quotation marks for those not watching is. But yeah, that's a very interesting question, and I'm not sure how that's explored in the game,
Yeah.
like
'Cause I
people
mean-
at one point, like people have even talked about how, Bill and Frank, they probably wouldn't even have gotten together in the real world if this hadn't happened, because Bill, right, is such a right-wing person that he might not have ever connected with a man like Frank in that world. But because now it's the apocalypse and there ain't nobody else around, they can run into each other and just be like, yo, bruh.
Right.
Choices is limited, fam.
I mean, it was clear from that first encounter that Bill never had that opportunity.
Never,
Or if he
because
did,
Bill
it
is
was,
running
like,
in circles
very
where,
far and few in between, or very rare in the before times. I mean,
yeah. 'cause
so
think-
for him to be able to find a partner like that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? In this environment, yeah.
think of the circles Bill's running in. Don't tread on me, circles. You think they
Right,
rolling-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they ain't fucking with that shit like Holmes. Like, nah, bro,
Or they're acting like they're not fucking with that shit.
There it is, because they definitely fucking with a bunch of men sitting around in a circle. Come on, fam.
Not a circle.
I mean, you know what happens next, allegedly.
Please. Please. Yeah, I don't know. But I did think about that. Like, oh, I wonder if that's, if it's everyone cares anymore, and I would hope not, but you never know with Fedra, as you mentioned, and all that stuff.
You never know.
And
And
I
just
think
people in
that's
general being assholes,
right.
Yeah.
I
can't get none, so why should you?
What are the things you did not like, Ben? I mean,
I did not like waiting for Riley to die. Because I knew it was coming. Wait, I do want to say one more thing that I did like, that I actually loved, and it's in my dislikes, but I love this shit. The fact that motherfucking Ellie had a 50-minute flashback while Joel was sitting there.
it's like anime. Like, it's just like anime where, like, the character, like, something, like, they're in the middle of, like, they about to get sliced the fuck open by this wild enemy. And then it pauses. It just pauses in time. And then you have a 26-minute long episode about that time when they was back in the hot springs. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, wait a minute. You can't be having all this thought process. But you can.
I thought that shit would be like, 2 seconds or something. But this shorty remembered the whole fucking episode and then ran and got like, and then it didn't even have nothing to do with what she was thinking about. It wasn't like she went and got a tape deck, and patched them up or some shit.
She had this flashback within seconds, Ben. I mean, she had a 55-minute long
55-minute flashback. And it had nothing to do with what she needed to do to save him. Was that like, oh, I'm not abandoning him because
it was about it was the overall arch of, I'm not abandoning him, or I'm not gonna let him die like I had to. And I don't even want to say let, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm saying that I took it as losing someone she loves again.
Yeah, listen, little Jesus piece,
and how Joel Joel was like, bro, like, remember before she had her 55-minute flashback, Joel grabbed her hand and was like, go back to the north to the king of the wall, and go see my listen. Go back to Castle Black and go meet up with my brother, right,
nigga,
Tommy.
You are clearly Jon Snow, and I'm clearly Arya before the training, fam.
Like, come on, I'm Arya, right?
Yeah, early Arya.
But no, he was like, go back to the north. So, my thing is, and she thought about it. And that's what
for 55 minutes.
Yes, that's what part of the flashback. She thought about it. Okay, well, if I've been through all this adventure with you, and all this life and tragedy and this and that, and then this is the end. This is how I go out. So that I took it like, yo, I've already been through this story of someone that I love deeply, or whether she knows or not, she loves Joel. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone I love deeply, like me just losing them.
Yeah.
Or me even having to take them out, and her making a decision, no, not this time.
Yeah.
Because she looked to me, she went upstairs. She went upstairs to go leave. And she was like, oh, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna try to save him.
Yeah, that episode was pretty good. Nah, I gotta come back and save him. I'm saying, like, she saw the whole joint, like, no commercials.
Yo, not a buffer in sight, nothing. No pause.
Straight up. They didn't cut back to her, nothing. It was
Nah.
the whole 55 minutes. So I actually really enjoyed that. It was hilarious to me, and especially now that I know that happens like all the time in anime. Because I'm used to like the martial arts where they do that. They would do that in martial arts movies a lot too as well. Like dude about to get his head bust open.
Like you about to get chopped the fuck down, and then you get a 35-minute exposition on why butterflies are the key to life, and then it's like, all right, now I'm ready. It's like, wait a minute.
I like the ones in the karate movies where they about to get bust open, and then they would cut back to show you how the dude had trained to bust you open, and then like, and then when they done, back to like, bah, you know.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, that's why he's so powerful.
Yeah, that's why he served.
That's why One Punch Man worked like that, man, because he's been doing push-ups every day, 100.
100 every single day.
Yeah, I think the only thing I did not like was just the idea teenagers are annoying, and to me, like just doing wild, reckless shit, and like every time, and again, that undercurrent of danger for me, I was just like, why the fuck are y'all jumping on the goddamn countertop? Yeah. It's made out of glass. You can fall through and cut your shit up. Like that's all I kept thinking of, and I guess that's me, like acting like a mom at that point. But I was just like, y'all can hurt yourselves. Why the fuck y'all being so like when they, and I have my headphones on, so everything, and I have these are my podcast headphones, so these is real good sound quality. And when they first went into the mall and they jumped down on top of the fucking metal box, I was yelling. I said, what the fuck is y'all problem? It's too goddamn loud. Get the fuck off my lawn. I was just fucking screaming like an old man yells at cloud. Like, I was just like, y'all too loud. Y'all don't give a shit about y'all safety. Meanwhile, they just on a goddamn date.
Well, do remember that, Shorty was in there crafting bombs. So Shorty is obviously...
She been in and out of that bitch, right? So she was crafting. Once I saw that she lived there, I thought it was just some, she found some cool shit and was like, oh, let me take my girlfriend here. Nah, like, that was her house. And she was just letting her know, hey, I was setting shit up for you in here.
Yeah, and once again, though, like, why would you not clean that hoe out? Like...
Maybe she thought she did and she just didn't want to go on the
rookie mistake.
Very much rookie mistake. So that's the only thing, and just the dragging of things, I was just like, all right, y'all, can y'all just kiss and let's be done with it? Like, come on. So,
but I mean, like you're right. At first, I was hating on this episode, but a lot of it was so cute that I can't.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I can't hate like. When they put the mask on, because I was like, oh, they put the mask on, and now they can really be themselves. Oh! Yeah, so stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is really cute. And Storm sells it so well, and Bella sells it so well.
Yeah.
Like, their innocence, everything about it.
They were so, that was the part when I said, that was really what it was when I said teenagers are annoying, and I just remembered the reasoning. I was like, because the snarkiness, like, how they both speak to each other is snark, 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 snark. And I'm like, nigga, can y'all just speak fucking English and tell each other you love each other and kiss each other and be done? Like, just tell the truth. But it's like, yo, they're young. They're trying to get there. And
they're trying to get there.
It takes time to get there.
It takes so much time. People don't tell the truth when they're effing grown. Like, come on now.
That's facts. Yeah. Oh, joke, snark, snark, snark. And I'm like,
yep.
Nigga.
Twitter.
Y'all are in love with each other.
Look at Twitter.
Right.
Joke, snark.
So what happens next, Ben? Like you said, after the existential flashback, she runs up, she finds some needle and thread and starts sewing Joel back up.
Shorty was sitting there, standing there like it was finish him, like Joel dying, and she just sitting there like having a flashback for 50 minutes.
So she sews Joel back up. Presumably Joel will be okay enough to at least get to the next spot.
Wait, I do have a question. How the fuck did she learn the fatalities, fam? How?
Oh, they were playing for a good long time, at least an hour.
No. She knew them before. Yes.
I mean, how Riley lives there. She been playing with it. Remember,
how does anyone figure out them shits off without like? I guess.
Oh man, it's just dude playing. It's just dude playing. It's just, and also I think on a lot of the old arcade cabinets, a lot of times they have like the legend on the corner that shows you like the different move sets. Like I know of Street Fighter cabinets, they would have that. Yeah, like how to do Hadouken.
They never have fatalities. That's like even when those games were out, I used to wonder how the fuck people were finding these things out because people would tell me.
Oh, you find on
No, this before online. This before it was like people.
Then gaming magazines.
Yeah,
right?
gaming magazines, definitely, yes. But like people just know them shits. Day one that shit was out. I was like, how the fuck? But that's what
they was reading the magazines leading up to it.
And also, it's like what you're saying is also them dudes would be there and playing for hours until they figured it out one way or the other. Tap forward,
and it's all patterns. Like once you find it the first time, then you know how to initiate it, and up, down, down, then it's punch, or up, down, down, then it's kick, and they all do something different, right? So.
Yeah, so eventually you're gonna figure it out, and when you got unlimited quarters, you're gonna sit there.
Fuck yeah. But yeah. I like that. I thought it was cute. The whole.
Yeah.
It was very thoughtful. It was thoughtful.
That arcade moment was so good for me. Like when she like her acting when she was like, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen," was because I just like I said, I felt that. Yeah.
Yeah, you felt it.
Yeah.
So Ben, back to my statement. Is Joel making it? He's trying to patch this man up, right?
Obviously.
Well, for how long though? Or is it he's gonna get what's it, septic?
Septic poisoning, something like that.
Yeah, like he's gonna need medication and all this other stuff.
Joel makes it to next season. I like wait.
He said, wait.
Like I know that Joel does not make it through all. It ain't The Last of Us for Joel. I know that. I know it's about Ellie overall. I don't know when it happens for Joel, but I know that Joel ain't with us forever. And, what a twist would be Joel not making it at some point before people from the game.
Like 2 episodes before the end of this season? Because there's only 2 episodes left. This is episode 7.
Oh, but a classic HBO move is to murder, the big character in the one before and then set up the next season. That used to be their classic move. So, like the next episode would be like Game of Thrones, Sopranos, all of them would always do that. Would be The Wire. It's like the episode before the last episode. Yeah, that's the big one. And then the finale is just setting you up, recovering from that and then setting you up for the next
season.
Yep. So,
that's how Insecure ended.
Yeah, Joel's not dying in this episode. In the next episode. No, because he already took his bad one. It had to be take the bad one and die right there. It's not like.
But what are we seeing next? We saw Joel, like we saw the lone tear come out of his eyes, and he's finally like, "Yo, this is my new daughter incarnate." I don't know, like, where is he? I mean,
he's been there. He's been in, like he's been accepted that he loves this girl. They're like closer to each other, I think, now than they ever have been.
Because it's been at least 4 months now, right?
Yeah, and they're closer to each other on their respective paths because they've definitely been like wavering. It's like Ellie gets too hard, Joel gets too hard. Joel gets too soft, Ellie gets too hard. However it's going. But I think both of them are reaching a happy medium now, where they're both accepting that love is something that can still happen in this world, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, I think that's been an interesting journey, especially as far as writing, because I didn't expect that. I expected them to be like 2 trains crossing in the mist and never see each other again, Like that's all.
2 ships passing in the night.
Yeah, that one, 2 ships, not 2 trains. Yeah, midsummer metaphors right here. 2 trains. You knew that was coming.
Jesus. Okay. So, what else? Anything else you wanted to say about this episode, or did you think we covered everything?
Let's see. Anything else to say about this episode? I don't know. I mean, not much, right? This feels kind of short this week, but I guess that's about it. Because I don't really have much more to say.
Yeah.
It was, it's a very cute little flashback story. Well done. Whatever happened to, like, I guess we never find out what happened to Shorty who, she bust that jaw on early in the episode. The eye jammy who Shorty gave the eye jammy from. Like, yeah.
Wait, was Shorty?
The Shorty who stole the Walkman in the first place. And
Yeah. She probably dead. Who gives a fuck?
Well, dude, my man Quan was talking about her like she ain't shit.
Captain Quan.
But Quan was kind of an asshole, man. Come on.
I don't think Quan's a realist. Quan was like, look, that's why he gave.
Damn, you think Storm is shit guard? That's what you think of Storm, fam? That's what you think of Riley?
No, I think
You guard the shit.
listen, I'm whether he's an asshole or not I don't think it matters. He's a realist as far as that little piece I could tell. And I don't know if he's in charge. Was he in charge of assignments, or was it just
that's what she said?
Would it just come down
put me
from
on
on high? For someone told Quan.
I don't think so, fam. Quan was over there like, yo, make these choices. I got you, shorty. I'm gonna make you an officer over here. You're gonna be like me.
Well, that's
shorty.
That's also why Riley was like, when Ellie was like, we could be in charge, Riley was like, no, you can be in charge. They don't even fuck with me. You think it's a white thing? Quan's Asian. I'm not saying that changes anything. I'm just saying, like, okay, Ben. I really don't want to think racism survived in this apocalypse. Once again, is that you can't roaches and racism?
Look, the thing is, because racism would not have had to survive, because it would have been there. Like, why would it have gone away? People would have been racist and they would have been alive, right? So
for the same reason, I feel like bigotry against people who
because old habits die hard.
Well, it's not. It's inconsequential. Me being black is inconsequential to the fact that this other nigga's infected.
Fam, the same people who would get that right now would get that then. That's the problem.
That's shit crazy.
It wouldn't change it, because if you were that racist, you'd be like, fuck it. Because right now you can die from anything. It don't matter that there's infected out there. You can just take an L from anything. Right. But people are still racist.
But it's not. I mean, and it's so funny because technically it is always immediate danger, but not like this immediate danger.
It's just like this. But people don't want to accept
really just like this?
Yeah, it's like.
And by this, you mean The Last of Us? Is it right now where we live is really just like The Last of Us?
No, it's not just like The Last of Us. That's not. It doesn't have to be. But at the same time, people die every day. And it doesn't matter. People are still racist every day. That changes nothing.
Sad
and in some places of the world right now, it's worse than anything The Last of Us, and people are racist and everything else there too. Because some parts of the world right now are living under constant bombing and war and death and everything, famine, all kind of shit, and people are still terrible there.
Shit's sad.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty sad. It's kind of disheartening. That's why I also enjoyed the hopefulness of this episode, to see a black girl and a white girl, living out their love, as best they can in the midst of all this. And then, I mean,
so more heartache and heartbreak coming. This is what I predict for the last two episodes, the remainder of the season. And then, of course, as we know, season 2 has already been greenlit, so we'll get to see or get some type of insight, hopefully, about what that's going to be all like. And it's just sad times.
Yeah, I have to say though, like when I finished this episode, once again, I was like, yo, I'm sick of this show. Like, I'm good.
Was it okay?
But after reviewing it with you, because I enjoy doing this show so much, I'm like, I'll do another episode. It's like
I'm softening you from like just being annoyed about it, right?
I think the show is very well done, but once again, I just haven't seen. I don't want to say anything I haven't seen before, even though a lot of it I really haven't seen. I have seen before, so it's not really much new about it. It's more so that it's like, in this day and age, I really avoid a lot of entertainment that
depressing.
I feel, depressing, or just doesn't do anything for me. I'm not really like being enlightened or even learning a different cultural viewpoint or anything like that, or it does, or even so, like, I just like more things that make, energize me and make me feel like, yeah, that's the way things should go, and
yeah. But if nothing else, Ben, the Bill and Frank episode, nothing compares to that. Like,
I won't say
for
nothing,
this series, nothing. For this series, nothing compares.
Oh, for the series, it's one of the best. Yeah, it's one of the best episodes of television I've seen this year. I mean, it's been a very short year, but it's also one of the best episodes of television I think I'll see all year. And I really enjoyed this episode as well. Overall, it's funny. I really came around as we reviewed it because I'm like, oh, that cuteness, because cuteness and hope in life is something that I think we don't see enough of in television, in general. So that really, is something that I really like to see, is like love being expressed and people being in love, and seeing that on screen, I just don't think we see enough of. So that was very nice. Yeah, no, I really, I think love will save the world, and so
Absolutely.
I think it needs to be seen more often.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all. This has been our review of episode 7 of The Last of Us. This is the Lack of Us podcast powered by For All Nerds. You can find us on your favorite podcast platforms as well as the interwebs on YouTube. Just look for All Nerds or For All Nerds TV and you will find us. That's how you, as I mentioned, you see us and hear us. The For All Nerds podcast on your favorite podcast platform. You can also support us in a variety of ways. Do a few things for us. Follow us on social medias at For All Nerds. Follow myself at Tatiana King and this gentleman over here at DJ Ben Hameen. Make sure you're also hitting us up on several pages like our Patreon. That is where, because of you, we get to do cool shit like this and make it nice and professional. Now, patreon.com/forallnerds. There's some new shit coming on the Patreon. So just FYI, y'all need to be having your eyes open, okay? Like a damn, what they call them things? Not a walker. What are they called here? The fucking infected.
Clickers.
The clickers. It's coming around the corner because something's coming around the corner, okay? Keep your eyes and ears open. Shout out to everyone who be on not Twitter, not YouTube, but it's called Twitch. I knew it was letter T.
The Twitch.
Twitch.tv/forallnerds, where you can see us go live every so often. You also get to see Ben Hameen play his music, and he has incredible music as well. So just make sure that you are following there. Make sure you talking about supporting us. We got our t-shirts. Ben Hameen is wearing a T'Challa and Friends design with all the incredible Black heroes across the comic book universe. Make sure you go to forallnerds.com. Okay, you see the logo in my background for those watching, forallnerds.com, where you can be privy to some amazing, incredible, stupendous, beautiful work. We're gonna have some new designs up there as well, and
might be up there by the time this episode drops.
Might be up there, and
might be
what stuff that you buy through our site directly that helps us directly. Okay, we ain't gotta fight with a big corporation, get some scraps. This is from us. Okay, so we appreciate all of that, and I always say this, and I mean this with the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for your love and support. It means everything to us. It means everything to the success of the things we do. And thank you to everyone who's always sharing us. Okay, share and at people. Tell them anytime people be doing them tweets or whatever about, hey, what's the podcast you listen to? Add us. Harass the Spotify's of the world. Harass the Apple Podcasts of the world. Whenever you see an opportunity to put our name in the conversation, please do that. Much appreciated.
Word up, because I saw somebody leave a YouTube comment where they said this is like one of the most informative and funny podcasts, and it should have way more views and listens. So, I mean, we're doing great, but we always need more. Especially on the YouTube. So make sure you're hitting us on the YouTube. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Like Tatiana said, tell people, word of mouth is the greatest way. If you love us, let other people know about us. Don't keep it to yourself. Let your friends, let your family know about it. Let's see. What else before we get out of here? We will be at the Smithsonian October 19th, 2023. The National Museum of African American History and Culture. We will be there. The NMAAHC. Yes.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. The HNIC.
The HNIC of the MAHC.
Will be at the HNICs will be at the, you get the picture.
Yeah.
The Smithsonian, October 19th. That's right. We are at the Smithsonian talking Afrofuturism. The future is Black. You know what I mean? And all kind of other things. I was watching Fleischman is in Trouble, and at one point this woman says, you think they would let us wear those shirts? The future is female, if the future is ever coming? And I was like, ooh.
Damn.
That's true.
It's harsh.
So the Black is right now. Fuck that. You know what I mean? We right now. We here now. We gonna be here, and that's what we gonna be talking about. We gonna be here forever. Shout out to KRS-One. So yeah, that's what we gonna be talking about. October 19th, 2023. Pretty sure that's homecoming HU. Weekend. So we gonna be lit. I'm gonna be doing some parties. It's gonna be a lot of things. But by then, God willing, I'll be able to announce something that I showed Tatiana earlier tonight that is absolutely mind-blowing and is also Afrofuturistic to the fullest.
Y'all have no fucking clue. Oh my God.
Fam. It's a lot of things going on right now. Like Tatiana said, Thank you all so much for the support, man. This last year has been game changing. Like the support at forallnerds.com. And when we drop these new designs, I know y'all gonna be eating them up. But that's been so much, like y'all listening to this show, y'all telling the word. Like we got, finally got some ads. Things are just moving in the background. All kinds of things are happening. Let's see, we talked about the Smithsonian. Oh yeah. When you listen to this episode, it's gonna be my birthday. It's Pisces season, February 27th. That's right, we in the building. Make some noise.
Happy birthday, Ben Ami.